Hello and welcome. The title of the message today is Who Am I? But let's begin by affirming together our opening statement. There is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God. I invite you now to take a deep breath with me, gently but fully filling your lungs and releasing that breath back to universe. Bringing our awareness to this present moment, in this present time and space, and opening ourselves to Spirit, the teacher within us, divine understanding and divine wisdom. And so it is. Amen. So who am I? I'd like to begin by talking to you about an experience that Moses had. Before he went to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt, he was a shepherd. He was working for his father-in-law, Jethro. And he was leading his sheep one day towards the mountain Horeb. And on that mountain, he encountered a burning bush. And God spoke to Moses out of that burning bush as he turned aside. Now, this burning bush is more than just a story that's told. It is a symbol. It is not only a burning bush, but it is a burning bush that is not consumed by the fire. You see, isn't that the way the ongoing creation is? It is burning. It is putting energy, God's energy, life itself, to use. And so it is on fire. But in its endless supply of life, God knows that this ongoing creation will never be consumed. The bush will not be consumed because there is always more energy. It is the bush that is burning and is never consumed, and that is life itself. It is creation itself. And in a similar way, it is also us. From a limited perspective, when our body lies down, it is consumed and the fire is out. But that is not the truth. We are the living fire. We are the bush that is burning and yet not consumed. So who am I? I'd like to quote for you from the book of Exodus, chapter 3, and verse 14. In the King James Version, you'll hear this translation that says, I am that I am. Because Moses had asked God what he should call God when he goes to Egypt. Who shall I say sent me? And in the King James Version, it translates this name as I am that I am. In the New Revised Standard Version translated as I am who I am. Well, Dr. Lomsa, as he translated from the Aramaic, preferred to leave this name untranslated. And I'd like to read it for you now. And God said to Moses, I am Ahai Asher Ahai, that is, the living God. And he said, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, Ahai has sent me to you. Ahai Asher Ahai. It's an Aramaic saying. And yes, it means I am that I am. And yes, it means I am who I am. And yes, it means I am becoming who I am becoming. You see, it is this sense of a burning bush that is burning and yet not consumed. Lamsa says, it is the living God. That is the living God. This burning bush that is on fire with life and yet is never consumed. There is always more life coming to and through us. So who am I? Well, I am not what my five senses say that I am. I am not what I see. I am not what I smell. I am not what I touch. I am not what I hear. And I am not what I taste. I am not these things. I am not this body. I am not the thoughts that are going on in this mind. I am not the feelings that are going on in this mind. So who am I? This question, who am I, is not only a question in language, even though it is a question in language. This who am I is an inquiry, and it is a practice. This inquiry is a practice. So as you are looking for who am I am that I am, the I am in me. As you seek to align your napsha, your small self with a lowercase s, with your ruah, self with a capital S, the question that may help in this practice is, who am I? Anytime a thought pattern or a pattern of emotion enters into your consciousness, the practice is, who am I? I am not these thoughts. I am not this emotion that has control of my consciousness right now. Who am I? And there is only one answer. I am that I am. I am the living God expressing in this world. I am not this body. I am my true self that is always in connection with God. And the practice is bringing this inquiry, who am I, into my consciousness. Because it allows a pause. It reminds us by the simple inquiry itself of who we truly are. Who am I? I am. Paul had it right in the letter to the Colossians in chapter 1. And in verse 27, he says, to whom God wanted to make known the riches of the glory of the mystery amongst the Gentiles, which is that mystery that he wanted us to all know, that God wanted us to all know. This mystery, this thing that is hidden in the plain view. Who am I? Who am I? The answer is Christ in you, the hope of our glory. Christ in you, the hope of glory. The I am, the divine presence that is always here. So who am I? We remind ourselves of this question. That is the practice, this inquiry, as we go through our life, as thought patterns that are habitually coming into our consciousness for whatever reason. These thought patterns that lead us to feelings of separateness, to feelings of anger, feelings of fear, these feelings themselves. When we find ourselves in the midst of these patterns, the inquiry is, who am I? Christ in me, Christ in you, Christ in each one of us is our hope of glory. This living God, the burning bush that is not consumed, that has been and always is, expressing through us in this ongoing creation. We are not this body temple, but this body temple is our vehicle to be an expression of the living God in this universe. So who am I? Who am I? I invite you not to take my word for it, but to try out this very simple inquiry, this very simple way of reminding yourself of the truth of who you are. And see, how does that affect those thought patterns? How does it affect the feelings that habitually come into us? Who am I? Christ in you, our hope of glory. I thank you for your attention, and I invite you to take this practice and put it to use, because in the words of the Reverend Johnny Coleman, it works if you work it. Please join me in prayer as we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever I am, God is. Thank you.